Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me for another online yoga class. This is going to be a short and sweet yoga class, about 20 minutes long, and it's going to be an energizing Vinyasa style class. So we're going to be taking lots of powerful strength building movements, focusing with breath to movement, flowing throughout the sequence. So be prepared to wake up the body, energize yourself, ready for the day. This is a great one to do in the morning, or if you're ever just feeling a little bit low on energy, it's a really wonderful way of waking up the body. As always, I will leave my link to my Facebook and Instagram down below if you wanted to follow me on the social media. I will also leave a link to the PayPal if you particularly feel like you got something from this class and you fancied donating to help support me make these videos. So we're just going to get straight into it today. We're going to start in a child's pose. So coming down onto your mat, your knees can be mat distance apart, or you can have your knees together as you begin to extend your arms in front. Release your forehead down to either the block or the floor. And just use this time to connect to the breath. Begin to connect to your Ujjayi pranayama, breathing in and out through the nose, creating a small restriction to the back of the throat as you exhale. And if you wanted to set an intention for your practice, now is a wonderful time to do that. It may be a mantra, a word, something you're hoping to get from this practice. With each breath in, breathe that in fully. And with each exhale, you let go of anything that no longer serves you. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, begin to walk the hands back up, coming into a tabletop position. We're going to take 3 rounds of cat-cow, so just check in that your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, your feet are flat out behind you. As you inhale, you come into cow pose, the crown of the head comes up, chest forward, belly down, tailbone comes up. As you exhale, you start the movement of the tailbone, you round the spine, lift and separate the shoulder blades as the crown of the head releases down. Do 2 more of each at your own pace. And then on your next breath in, come back to a neutral spine. We'll come into our first downward facing dog. So palms flat, fingers spread wide, tuck the toes under, lift the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Knees can stay bent to start with as we focus more on lifting the sit bones as high as possible, and the chest melts back towards the thighs. Once you feel nice and open through the shoulders, the head is hanging heavy, no strain in the neck, you can begin to pedal either one heel at a time or both heels down towards the floor. On your next breath in, look to the space between your hands. In as many steps as you need, come forward to the halfway lift. So spine parallel with the floor, shoulders away from the ears, chest forward, looking forward. As you exhale, you hinge forward from the hips, releasing the crown of the head down towards the floor. As we inhale, we come up with a straight spine, sweep the arms in front, come all the way up. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides, Namaste, stay nice and engaged, nice and lifted through the crown of the head. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, hands down towards the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, plant the hands, step both feet back. You can either lower your knees, chest and chin, or lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, knees lifted, shoulders away from the ears, arms towards straight, or baby cobra. Exhale, come through tabletop, or roll over to the feet, downward facing dog. We'll have 1 full breath. So we're just going to do a few rounds of Sun Salutation A and a few rounds of Sun Salutation B. If these feel too much or too intense, or you're not really sure where you're going, you can always skip it or watch me do them first. Inhale, look to the space between your hands. Step or float forward, coming to the halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, straight spine, come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, one breath. Inhale, coming forward to the halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, return to center, reach up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Okay, Surya Namaskara B, slightly different movements. If you need to skip this or watch me first, that's fine too. Inhale, we're coming into chair pose. So hips sit back, arms can come out in front or joining the palms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, right leg lifts behind you. Use that momentum to step the right foot between the hands. You can stay lifted on the fingertips or plant that left heel down, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left leg lifts, step through. Again, stay on the fingertips or lift up to warrior one. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing, one full breath. Inhale, look to the space between your hands. Step or float forward, coming to the halfway lift. Exhale, crown of the head releases down. Inhale, chair pose, hips sit back. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, right leg lifts. Step through. Take an extra breath here if you need it. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up. Exhale, downward. Inhale, left leg lift, step through between the hands. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Have one full breath. And then we'll move into the static hold portion of our flow. So we'll just learn the sequence and hold the postures before we come into breath to movement flow. Okay, so we're going to start by inhaling, lift our right leg forward to the space between the hands, come up into a high lunge. So right knee stays stacked over right ankle, left heel charges back behind us, arms up overhead. Just checking in that the hips are facing the short edge of the mat, the front of the mat, as opposed to opening out to the side. As we exhale, we open up to warrior two. So arms come out to shoulder height, knee stays stacked over ankle, but we open our hips more out to the side, looking out to the middle finger of the right hand. As we inhale, move into reverse warrior. So left hand comes down the back leg, right arm comes alongside the ear. You can look down or you can look up towards the ceiling, opening through the shoulders, the chest, the side body and the ribs. Just checking in that that right knee is staying stacked over the right ankle. And then as we exhale, we have the option to move into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So bringing the right hand to the outside of the right foot, left leg comes out to the left. So the toes are facing the left hand side. Maybe your left arm comes up towards the ceiling. Option if you wanted to take it to move into Chapasana, sugar cane, taking the outside of the left foot with the hand, beginning to press the foot into the hand, opening so you get a little back bend, opening through the hip flexors and the quadriceps. Take one more breath in, release the foot if you had a hold of it. And as we exhale, we're going to return to warrior two. So step that foot back as lightly as you can. As we inhale, we move into five-pointed star. So heels in more than the toes face out, arms up overhead. As we exhale, we move into Utthita Konasana, goddess pose. So hips sit back, knees point in the same direction as the toes. So you begin to activate the quadriceps. You can have your palms together at the heart center, or you can have your hands towards your thighs if you feel a little bit more supported in this posture. And then as we inhale, return to five-pointed star, reach up. Exhale, warrior two over that right knee, looking to the right fingertips. Inhale, high lunge, lifting that back heel up, arms up overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, chaturanga. Inhale, upward. Exhale, downward. And we'll do that on the other side. So inhale, lift your left leg, step through between the hands, come up into high lunge. So charging through that back heel, left knee stacked over left ankle. Shoulders away from the shoulders away from the ears as the arms lift up overhead. Take one more breath in. Exhale, open to warrior two. So that back heel comes down, looking towards the middle finger of the left hand as your left knee stays stacked over the left ankle. As we inhale, reverse warrior, right hand down that back leg, left arm up towards the ceiling. Really feeling that strength building in that front leg, feeling the heat building in this posture. And as we exhale, option to move into Ardha Chandrasana, left hand to the outside of the left foot, that right foot lifts up, right toes face the right hand side, and your right hand lifts up towards the ceiling. You can always keep both hands on the floor here if you feel more supported, or you can come to find a wall as well. Option to move into Chapasana, sugar cane, taking the right foot from the outside with the hand and beginning to press that top of the foot into the hand. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale, release the hold of the foot, coming back to warrior two. Inhale, five-pointed star. I'm just going to face you guys. And as we exhale, Utthita Konasana, goddess pose. Option to change it up a little bit here, add a bit more heat. So lift the right heels up. You can even pulse here if that feels good. Might add a little bit more energy. Right heel down, left heel up. Left heel down, maybe both heels up, bit of balance as well. Rest both heels down, inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, high lunge, spinning that back heel up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, we're now going to flow through those exact same postures, but with breath to movement. If you get a little bit lost, don't worry, you can always, pause it, take a rest, or just join when you feel ready. So as we inhale, lift that right leg up and then place it between the hands, coming up into a high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, half moon. Inhale as we find our balance here. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, prayer squat. Inhale, five-pointed. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, plant the hands, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. One breath. And then the next side, so inhale, lift your left leg. Step through, coming into high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, half moon, or your variation of. Inhale, find your balance. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, prayer squat. Inhale, five-pointed. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, plant the hands, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing, one full breath. And then we're going to come to Malasana garland pose. So you can either step or look to your hands and float your feet to the outsides of the hands. So roughly out 45 degrees as the hips sit back towards the floor. If you get to kind of here and the heels lift up the floor, you can always roll up the front of the mat and support your heels with your mat. If your palms come off the floor comfortably, then bring them into the heart center, thumbs towards sternum and sternum towards thumbs. Just catch your breath here. Reconnect to your Ujjayi pranayama if perhaps we lost it in some of the more intense postures. If you had an intention, you can bring your awareness back to that now as we open up through the hips, the inner thighs. Deepening our breath. And you're more than welcome to stay here for another few breaths. If you wanted to try Bakasana, crow pose, you can bring your palms to the floor, about shoulder distance apart, fingers spread nice and wide, but you should be able to kind of move the fingers. So this is going to be your balancing for our Bakasana, crow pose. So you don't want them to be flat, but you want to have that little bit of mobility in your fingers. You're going to bring your torso parallel with the floor. Bring your feet together and then bring your knees to the tops of the arms. Begin to tilt your way forward, maybe lift one heel, maybe lift both heels off the floor towards your sit bones, looking to the space directly in front of you. Steady breath. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, release to Malasana if you weren't already. Release the wrists for a second. And then we're going to come into 3 rounds of boat Navasana. So you have the option, if you'd like, to either just sit down and come back into boat, or if you want to have a go, you can try rolling back. And rolling forward and catch boat on the way up. I quite like it, I think it's quite fun. So for boat, you can either have your legs parallel with the floor, you can take a hold of the back of the thighs to keep nice and lifted through the chest. If you wanted to challenge yourself, you can bring your legs towards straight. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, release the legs, cross the legs, plant the hands just in front of the hips, pick them up. So just lifting the hips off the floor maybe an inch or so, just beginning to strengthen the arms, strengthen the core. Exhale, release. Second round of boat. You can take the same option or a different one. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, release, cross the legs, pick up the hips. Last round, sit the hips down. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, release, cross the legs, pick the hips up. And then you can just rest in a seat for a couple of breaths, or if you wanted to take another vinyasa, inhale, plant the hands. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. And then as we inhale, we're going to come through to seated, so you can either drop to the shins, right knee to right wrist, left knee to left wrist, cross the ankles and sit through, or you can try jumping through, if that's in your practice. And we're just going to come to lay down on our backs, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle, so bringing the soles of the feet together. Bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your belly, and gently close your eyes. Be grateful to yourself for showing up on your mat today. Be grateful for your body for doing everything it was supposed to do today. Attach no judgments or stories of how you think you should look or how you think you should feel. And just accept that you're exactly where you should be today. And we're going to move into a gentle twist just to round off the practice. So bring your knees together, bring the arms out to either a goalpost position, or you can take them to a T-shaped position. And just gently lower the knees over to the right, maybe beginning to look over towards the left. Inhale, bring your knees to center. Exhale, knees to the left, maybe beginning to look to the right. Knees to center. Take one last squeeze, drawing them in towards your chest. Maybe even have a little rock around here if that feels nice. And then extend your legs out long, bringing your feet out to the front corners of the mat. Release your arms alongside the body with the palms facing up. Coming into Shavasana, your rest pose. Allow your body to become completely still, heavy, as all the wonderful work you've done begins to process. Resist the urge to pass judgment on all the places that you feel tight. And just allow them to be exactly where they are, comfortably supported by the earth beneath you. Let go of your Ujjayi Pranayama, your yoga breath, and allow your gentle, natural rhythms to return to you. Allow the mind to clear. Anytime you feel it return to the chatter of everyday life, just let it come back to the breath. Get some peace and quiet. Your mind does so much for you all day, every day. Just give it this time to rest. And just lay here in stillness with the body, the breath, and the mind. I recommend you stay here for another few minutes at least if you have the time. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. As you go forward, I wish you peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. Namaste.